Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be unboxing the Moto G8 Plus and giving you a quick hands-on review. So guys, here's the box, and this is a review unit, so it has already been opened. So it's just gonna be a quick unboxing and then a quick hands-on review. Now this phone, or the Moto G8 Plus itself, is priced at 14,000 rupees and it's being sold online exclusively on Flipkart. It's available in two colors, Cosmic Blue and Crystal Pink. And we have the Cosmic Blue color with us right now. Now the main highlights for this phone would be a 48 megapixel quad pixel camera on the rear and a 25 megapixel selfie camera on the front. And just like the Moto Action, even on this phone you get an ultra wide angle action camera where you can film vertically and play horizontally. It also supports electronic image stabilization, and the stabilization is also supposed to be pretty good. Finally, this phone also has stereo speakers. So it has a lot of cool things. So let's have a quick physical overview of the box and then get on with the unboxing. So on the front we have a big M, that's for the Motorola logo, and that's followed by the phone's name, Moto G8 Plus. Now on the left side we have some specifications and branding from Dolby, Qualcomm and Snapdragon itself. And on the right side we have some of the highlighting features, which were the same things that I've just talked about. Now on the back we have a quick preview of how the phone looks and the two color variants as well. We'll look the color of the blue color in a second. So once we open the box, we have the phone itself at the top with the case. I'm not sure if this is how the box packaging is exactly. Next we have some documentation. Following that we have a USB Type-C charging cable, SIM card ejector, and finally a 15-watt turbocharged power adapter. So guys, these are all the contents of the box. Now let me just put everything aside and come back to the phone itself. So here's the phone. This is how the phone looks on the front, and this is how the phone looks on the back with the case. Let me just remove that. I'll talk more about the case in a second. So for now, this is how the phone looks on the back. Now let's have a physical overview. On the back, this phone has a 3D curved fiberglass, and underneath that we have a pretty reflective pattern with a pretty cool effect going on. For this Cosmic Blue color, we have black at the top and kind of blue at the bottom, and you get a gradient effect which is pretty different from any other phone out there. On the top left corner, we have the intact camera setup. At the top first, we have that wide angle camera followed by a dual camera setup. Next, we have laser assisted focus and single LED flash. Now the laser assisted focus has a camera ring to it, so it might look like a camera, but this phone has just 3 cameras. Beside that, it has an engraving that says 48 megapixel and 107-degree action cam. Beside that, we also have a circular Moto dimple, which also acts like a fingerprint scanner. On the front, you get a massive display with a 2.5D curved glass with a dot notch. Inside the notch we have the front facing camera, and above the notch we have the earpiece. Below the display it's completely plain, and the chin is kinda big considering the price. Now for the sides, on the right side it has the power and volume buttons. They are made of plastic, they have a nice clicky feel to them, and they are sufficiently elevated. Just like all other Moto phones, power button on this phone has a nice texture to it. At the top it has just the audio jack followed by the secondary microphone for noise cancellation. On the left side, it has just the SIM card tray housing a nano SIM slot along with a hybrid SD card slot. So you can either use 2 nano SIMs on this phone or a nano SIM and an SD card. That's it, there's no getting around with it. Now finally at the bottom, it has a primary microphone followed by the USB Type-C charging port and the speaker grill. This phone has a thickness of 9.09 mm and weighs 188 grams. Initial impressions, phone feels kinda thick and kinda heavy. It's not too heavy, but it does have a weight to it. Now this is how the phone looks with the case on. It can give you some extra grip and protect your phone from scratches, and that's it. Beside that, it will not offer you any kind of protection. There is a slightly raised lip on the front, but it's almost negligible, and there's almost no protection or no raised lip for the camera module. So when you place your phone directly on its back, cameras are directly in contact with the surface. So I would definitely recommend you to get a better case for this phone as soon as possible. Now these are the complete specifications of the phone. On the rear, this phone has a triple camera setup with a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle action camera with f2.2 aperture and 117-degree field of view. That's followed by a 48 megapixel primary camera with f2.0 aperture and a 5 megapixel depth sensor with f2.2 aperture to take portrait shots. That's followed by laser assisted focus. For selfies, it has a 25 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture. On the front, it has a pretty large 6.3-inch LTPS display with Full HD Plus resolution, U-notch with 19:9 aspect ratio. Under the hood, it sports a Snapdragon 665 processor with Adreno 610 GPU with 4GB of DDR4 RAM and 64 gigabytes of internal storage. Right out of the box, it will be running pure stock Android based on Android 9.0, that's Android Pie. Finally, this phone is powered by a 4000 mAh battery, it supports fast charging, and comes with a 15 watts power adapter inside the box. This phone also has all the basic sensors including NFC. It also has Dolby Audio and dual stereo speakers, which is a pretty rare thing to see in this price segment. So guys, now let me turn on the phone and set it up and come back to you in a second. So guys, this is how the phone looks once we set it up and turn it on. This is the default launcher, and once you do a swipe up gesture, you go to the app drawer, and these are all the apps that come pre-installed. I just installed like 2 or 3 applications and that's it. So overall, these are the applications that come pre-installed. We have FM radio, and you also get a dedicated Moto app which brings in a lot of cool features. So I'll talk more about them later. For now, let's check out the storage information. So this is a 64GB variant, and out of the box, we get about 48 gigabytes of space for our user apps and user data. And that should be pretty sufficient for a normal user. Now let's check the camera interface. So this is the camera interface for the rear camera, and it looks pretty similar to all other Moto phones. I really wish Moto could upgrade this overall user interface. So this is a photo mode, and that's the shutter button. Capturing speeds seem decent. Next, we also get a dedicated button over here for Google Lens, so you can search for anything just by using your camera, and that's supported by Google. Now at the top we have some interesting options. Now this toggle is for auto mode, and you have manual mode from here itself, and this is the manual mode or professional mode, and you can control all these parameters, or else you can do this to control everything at once. So to switch back to auto mode, this is what you need to do. Now if we go to the right side, we have the video recording mode, and this phone has electronic image stabilization as well, and you can enable it and disable it from here. And once you enable stabilization, obviously footage gets cropped to give you a much more stable footage. Now this is the rear camera setup of this phone. This is a wide angle camera, this is the primary camera, and next we have another camera for taking portrait shots, and finally this circle over here is for laser assisted focus. When you open video recording mode, if you are able to see this preview, it means we are using the primary camera. Now you can use the wide angle camera as well by using this toggle. Just click that. Now we are using a brand new feature from Moto where we can shoot or film vertically and play it horizontally. Now as you have seen, I'm just holding my phone in portrait orientation, but the video orientation is in landscape mode. Now I can just record whatever I want. Now I can play it in landscape orientation, and there you go. And as you can see, stabilization is also pretty good. So that's one of the features of this camera. I'll show you sample shots later. Now coming back to the camera's interface, if we go to the left side, we have some extra options. First we have the portrait mode, that's pictures with background blur effect. Next we have cutout. I'll show you sample shots over here. So anyway, next we have cutout where you can change the background of a subject. Next we have spot color where we can change the background's color to black and white. Next we have night vision, which is a dedicated mode to take better pictures in low lighting conditions. Next we have cinematograph, panorama, and live filters. Below that we also have slow motion video recording and time lapse. By the way guys, when it comes to video recording, we can also record video in 4K resolution. You can just change the resolution settings from here. Now let's check out the front camera. So this is the user interface for the front camera. Honestly, nothing different from the rear camera. Everything looks pretty much similar. On the right side we have video recording, and on the left side we have some extra modes. First we have portrait mode, then we have spot color, cinematograph, group selfie, and live filter. This group selfie is a pretty unique feature where you can take a panorama shot with the front camera, and Moto calls it the wide angle selfie. Just do that to get a wide angle selfie. So guys, that's the camera interface. Now these are some sample shots. Now let's check out the speaker loudness. By the way guys, this phone has stereo speakers along with Dolby Atmos support. So here we go.
Don't say you're on the run to the
So guys, as you have heard, speakers on this phone are super loud. As they are stereo speakers, you get a much more fulfilling experience than your regular mono speaker. So these speakers are going to be great for ringtones, alarms and media consumption. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. I've already set it up and here we go. Fingerprint scanner itself is pretty fast, but the phone takes like half a second to unlock the phone. It's still okay, it's manageable. And one best thing, every time I use a fingerprint scanner, even when I'm using the correct fingerprint, it gives out a nice haptic feedback. And the haptic engine on this phone is kinda okay. It's not great, it's not good. It's definitely better than other phones in this price segment. Now let's test the face unlock feature. Once again, I've already set it up and it seems to be working pretty well. So this is good lighting conditions. Usually phones are much faster. And this phone takes probably like a second or two to unlock in good lighting conditions. Now let's test it in low lighting conditions. So it works even in low lighting conditions, but once again, it is kinda slow. So guys, overall face unlock is usable, but most of the time I'll probably end up using the fingerprint scanner itself. Now let me show you some of the unique features on this phone. First, we have something called fingerprint gesture. You can enable it from system settings. Just go to settings, system, then select gesture and enable the first toggle. Now once you do that, you can do a swipe down gesture on the fingerprint scanner to pull down the notification bar. You can do a swipe up gesture to send it back. So once for notification toggles or the notifications, second time for the toggles themselves, and do a swipe up gesture to send them back. That's something I really like. Next, we have this Moto app, which brings us a lot of cool features. We still have the famous Moto actions where you can do a chop gesture to toggle the torch and now it's off. You can also do a flip gesture to open the camera application. You can do it again to switch between the front and rear cameras. It works really well, and every time it works, it also gives out a nice haptic feedback. It just improves the overall experience. Besides that, we also have something called one button navigation, and once you enable it, this 3-button navigation bar is replaced with just a single button. And there you go. You can touch to go home, you can swipe up for recent apps, and you can swipe to the right side to quickly switch between the current application and the previous application. And finally, you can swipe it left to go back a step. Finally, for Google Assistant, you can just touch and hold this button and it'll trigger Google Assistant. And there we go. Next, we also got Moto Display, and here's a quick preview of that. So it has a lot of cool features as well. Now before I conclude, these are the Antutu and Geekbench scores. So guys, this is the new Moto G8 Plus. Honestly, it doesn't stand a chance when it comes to the competition, but it does offer a lot of unique things that no other phone offers. Or to be specific, it's something only Moto can offer. So if you're looking for a phone with pure stock Android with those Moto gestures and some interesting camera setup, you can definitely give this a try. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.